Welcome, just getting settled. The alcohol will come out soon and the killers will be set up. A big thank you to Kwame Mattia for hosting us. We'll thank him in a minute. Our big guest tonight is Eli of Eli.
Eli!
He's going to tell us a bit about his story. He's going to tell us his man connections, his friends, his people he works with. Amazing person. He also happens to be family. The cousin of my wife, so it's a big success to have him.
How many you gotta tell me more, man. Things I don't know.
So we're going to give it over to Andy to introduce himself. He's going to speak, we'll listen to some music.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're in the house, or rather above the house, with the awesome students. That means we can't blow off the roof, you know, we already did that almost. So guys, we've got to really focus in today because it's a special opportunity because I haven't been with awesome students for a few years now. So, yeah, on one of the balconies back then. And you guys have grown literally, there's much more guys. Obviously the program's doing really amazing. Personally, you know, I'm from London. I grew up in the entertainment world, music world. You can Google Eli Goldsmith, Eli Goldsmith, and you'll see a lot of stuff up there, straight at the top of Google, Ohrsome. And being in London, I was not aware of, you know, anything to do with Judaism other than I was a Jew. That was my big question. Why am I a Jew? As much as I was in the world and in music world, and I was, you know, generally not friendly with Jews so much more. I went to a completely non-Jewish school, public school I suppose you call it in America. I don't know what they call it in South Africa, but in London it was a state school. Yeah, you got any English people here? Londoners, Mancunians, anyone?
Not yet.
Not yet, wow. So you're going to have to deal with my English humour. So anyway, I've been here a long time. I've been here 20 years now. And the way it works is I was searching for that Jewish spark, what does it mean to be Jewish, and how can I develop that? That was my big question. I came here when I was 18. Originally, actually, I came here when I was 16 on a thing called Tour. I don't know if they still have it globally, but back in my time, it was Tour Israel. Every 16-year-old came in the summer. So that was actually my first visit. And I remember the T-shirt that they made for each person. I'm sure when you have your camps and tours, they make a logo for each person or some sort of theme. So mine was a globe, a guitar, and a tongue. Now you're going to have to work out each one is what, but it very much captured what I was up to in my teenage years. North Londoner, on tour with a lot of, you know, all kinds of people. But then I came back, thank God, but there was a moment on that trip where I really felt I connected. And you guys, thank God, are older, so you're already more mature. It was around 18 when I returned, and everything just was on a whole different level. It was an amazing flow, and I didn't come with a group, so I wasn't bound up by the social pressures of what was going down. And the amazing thing is, since I'm family with Yoni, is that whole time period when I was 16, I'd already met my wife-to-be. Now, I'm not giving you any ideas that you already know who your wife-to-be is already at a young age, but I was blessed that way, that I was shul hopping. I don't know if you ever guys did that kind of thing. You have to tell me where you guys are at, but when I was 14, we used to shul hop, and that was the first time I met my wife.
14?
Yeah. She was shul hopping. One of my friends introduced me to her friends, and anyway, on tour, you know, in Israel, her tour was here on a different one, and all my friends knew her people and our people, that kind of thing. And then, amazingly, I went to college with her twin brother, and he actually didn't introduce me to her, funny enough. I mean, protective brother, you know how it goes. It was at the gym. Yeah, we were running around the gym on a running track, and my best friend, a really good guy, he introduced me to her, and that's how I met my wife when I was around 17. And that was on the running track in a club called David Lloyd. Very nice club, if you ever heard of it. Anyway, so that was my 17-year-old. And at 18, I came here. She came here. My brother-in-law to be her twin came here. This is all like Yoni's, family. And we both went. The two of us, the boys, went to Ohrsome. Even though there was Chabad, there was other people, trying to get me, Aish. But Ohrsome was the chosen place. And you guys wouldn't know why, because you haven't met one of the righteous people that used to be in Ohrsome. Actually, there was a few in those days. Rav Nachman Borman and Rav Samet, Baruch Hashem, who's still around, and I still speak to. I don't know if you've met Rav Samet. Yeah, he's Mamash Sadik, and he was my Sad Kedushin. He was in my chuppah, and I learnt by him for many years, and I thank God still hold of him as my rabbi. So don't forget the connections you're building, when you're here. Because there's some really, really special people. Anyway, so she went to Neve, the story. I'm in Ohrsome. And thank God, what I did was really keep myself focused on learning and growing, even though there was going on in Ohrsome. It wasn't, a place filled with like holy Siddiqim. All kinds of guys are there. Like Tshuva from birth, everyone, all different kinds of stories. And thank God I was able to focus. And even though I had a very open past, when I came to yeshiva, it was just about yeshiva. And we didn't have like what you guys have the challenge of. We didn't have phones. The most we had was email, like old school emails. We could just about attach like a document to. So I imagine, and a Walkman. I had a Walkman. You know what those are? Yeah. Wow, I'm aging myself. So back in those days, I was always musical, and I remember my first trip here before I came to Shiva. I was walking through the old city, and I walked through the Arab section. I didn't even know like Arab, Jewish. I was really ignorant. I was just walking along, enjoying myself, and I was in the Arab section, and all these Arabs were coming up to me, like circling me, like something was about to go down. I was by myself. I just bought my first pair of tzitzits from Mer Sharim, and I was wearing them with a sleeveless top. I was pretty built back then, and these guys were like started speaking to me. So in those days, I lived with an Arab at university, and he taught me some Arabic. So I started trying to try out my Arabic, which cooled down the energy with these dudes. But the most important thing is what I did, and that's what we're going to do tonight. And this is going to bring us to my next part of my story after getting married and living in Israel, is I was singing a Bob Marley song. I don't know if you guys know who Bob Marley is. But I was singing with energy, because, I didn't know Jewish songs, like maybe other than, David Melech Yisrael or, Hina Matu V'Naim. There was no Nissim Black back then. So he wasn't Jewish, he wasn't anything. Yeah, he was a special guy, but he wasn't involved in our world at that point. Maybe his soul was, but he was born. Yeah, he was born. So we'll get to Nissim Black. This is one of his old school baseball caps we used to sell back in the day. Anyway, so I'm singing, and I'm feeling no fear. I'm on my way. I'm on my journey, and all these guys back off. And even though I was by myself and I was pretty much alone with these guys, but the fear wasn't there, and the energy of music and amunah, belief, was there. So that really begins everything. So you have to understand, like, what I grew up with, the highest level of music, the biggest stars in the world. Yeah. So just to bridge the gap, like, of my secular, traditional upbringing. Yeah, I was in Edgware, if you know where it is, and we used to, thank God, get VIP to every show you can imagine at that time. And my family, like my father and uncle, they put together with Bob Geldof Live Aid. I don't know if you remember that. No. You saw Bohemian Rhapsody? Yeah. So my family were the ones who put that together with Bob Geldof. He wasn't in the film, my uncle, because he's not that kind of guy. Nor Harvey Goldsmith, he's not that kind of guy. But he was the promoter for that whole show and built it together with Bob. It's documented well, and you can Google that, and everything I'm saying is Googleable and true. Not that you have to believe everything you read, but there's enough online to show the truth of that. And I was in the royal box of that show, and there was, Princess Diana and Prince Charles, and I met all different types of singers, and it was an amazing experience. And I'm blessed that, you know, I was the guy to know in London, because every kid knew they could get free tickets through my family. So everyone wanted to be friends with me, like especially when wrestling became massive in England. So some of these boys there, like literally went from enemies to friends just to get tickets. And funny enough, when I was just back in London not so long ago, a guy I haven't spoken to for 20 years got hold of me and said he wants Guns N' Roses tickets. So that was pretty funny, because they did a reunion concert. Huh?
Give him.
No. My dad asked, I said to him, can we get this guy? I haven't spoken. I feel sorry for him. You know, he's had a hard life, whatever. We'll give him maybe a ticket or two. He said, my dad was like, no, tell him to buy them. I don't know if they were buyable at that point. We sold out. But there was just so many stories where the music world that I grew up with, and I was obviously myself trying to be musical, and I had a band, and we won a battle of the bands. And I'm actually going to Amsterdam next week to see all my boys, and most importantly to see my biggest boy get married. And you know, he was in that band. He was the lead singer of that band, and all my crew will still be there. We had a combi van, VW van. We used to go around jamming. It was good days, and yeah, I was a bit of a hippie back then. But I was going back and forth between like running clubs. No, but I was also running clubs as well. Very smooth, like slick guy in London, and anyone can testify from those days that one of the nights, especially my wife was at that club and I got her in VIP, there was more than a few thousand people there that night, and thank God I came to Israel still with money left over from those club nights. I don't think there was much blessing in the money, but you know, we'll talk about that. But the point was, now how am I going to bring that kind of upbringing where, you know, I met Eric Clapton and Slash and anyone you can think of, Paul McCartney, how can I bring those kind of inspirational musical experiences into Torah, Ohrsome, and then going through the Kollel system, and I actually became very Hasidish. You wouldn't imagine, but I also have long hairs under this hat and long beard. No, you have to come pray with me or something. Have you seen them? I don't even know if I've shown them to you. No. Yeah.
When can you come pray?
No, it's not. I don't get them out. It's just for anyone. My wife wants me to. You'll see when you get married. You know, you have to follow the real boss, the wife. Anyway, so it's like this. I was in Israel, and I thought I have to bring that talent into the Jewish world, and that's one of the big challenges. How do you bring your skills, your skill set into Torah? That's like, how does it combine the Torah life with your musical or your spiritual or whatever you're doing, whatever your skill set, your academic, if your business style, whatever it is, how do you bring that into your daily life? So what I did is I started doing Kumztiz like this in Ohrsome, just like this. I didn't do it with so much with Yeshiva's involvement, and it was those 2 years I was in Ohrsome, that was the time period where they had Kumztiz every few weeks, and everyone remembers that time period. And thank God I was using my promotional skills from my past now in a small level. All the Ohrsome guys, Derek guys, all the different guys came, and we had a really good flow of music, and it was amazing. And there was one or two really good musicians who are still around now, thank God. And there were good days, but it wasn't enough. So I got married, and as I got more religious, I put an album together, but I didn't really push it. We didn't have, online streaming like you guys do now, and I do, and all the social media opportunities. So you really had to go around and with the discs and sell it on the street and get to the record companies. And I was newly married, like this dude was telling me, Shana Rishona, and I'm not gonna. Anyway, we'll speed it up. So I'll carry on. We'll sing a song, but I'm just gonna end off with one point before we get to your question. That my big question was, how do I? This is nice. It comes in, but how am I going to impact the world with my skill set? How am I going to bring together all that past, present, future, and help the world have a positive outlet through music that's role models, and almost make a revolution in the music world, where instead of the guy dying from sex, drugs, and rock and roll, he'd actually be a family guy, he'd be a good guy, he'd make music that's inspirational and has lyrics that guides people. And that was my big thing. Firstly, I was going to try to do it myself, so I did. But the big question was, how can I empower others? And that's really why I'm not so interested in playing music myself. I will maybe play you a song if it works out. I do have a few good songs, but I'm really about empowering other people. So since we're here to connect, there's no better way than connecting through music, and a l'chaim also, if someone would hook me up. So thank you so much. Amazing. So we should be blessed, everyone. L'chaim, bracha, everyone. Enjoy your stay, enjoy your journey, and bring all your talents together. Amen. And you'll get a good wife out of it too.
Yoni, all good? Good. Oh, yeah. Where the heck is that?
So what are we singing, guys? If you look up Ellie Goldsmith and you write United Souls or anything, loads of stuff will come, loads of music on Spotify. I mean, I'm on Apple Music as well. But it's old school. It's like 90s. It's 90s kind of style. I haven't updated it. I'm busy helping other musicians. I have a long list. We'll get to it. And a lot of great stories. I have a podcast. I have a podcast as well, which, thank God, I have a few podcasts. I have 3 podcasts. So, online, I'm busy.
Are you a Ghana or
Spurs. Spurs all the way. We beat you guys just right, just in time. That was an amazing exercise. It was one of the happy days for Spurs. And this season we beat Arsenal. That was a big victory. Came out above the Premier League. Got to keep an eye on it. I don't have time to watch the games, but you can nowadays everything summaries.
Yo, how about this guy?
Yeah, potentially.
Highlights.
Stop this.
You press Google Spurs and come up straight away in 1 second. I wrote England the other day and it came up, they got us 4-0. It's a
Are you from this area?
By the way, guys, I'm married in South Africa just in case. He's from Cape Town.
Yeah, Cape Town.
From Bosky, Sauber.
Did you say you live in North?
I live in North London. Edgewood, Spurs. We beat the Cougars. That's all that matters. Thank you. No. I'll check it out.
When you were on first night at Target.
Yeah.
I like whiskey. Every Friday before we go to shul, we always have a pre-show. You see why? It's just so. I don't like everything besides like smoky stuff.
How you going?
I don't.
Yeah, good.
He's just telling me about his people.
So last night I was chatting with Aiton Katz, and he was with Shlomo Katz with the song he just played, and yeah, he was in a frat, and the reason why I was chatting with him, the reason I was chatting with him is I have a lot of announcements. If you go to my podcast, Unity Flow podcast, it's one of the podcasts. It's where I do my music updates and a bunch of my classes, but I have a lot of updates, and one of them is Aiton Katz has joined booking with me, thank God. So I'm very excited, and his first gig we're going to do together next week in Amsterdam.
Wow.
So he just flew in from the US for a gig, and his brother just flew in from Mexico, and they did a really cool jam last night. These are really special brothers, and Shlomo Katz had the pleasure of visiting a bunch of times in a frat with his community, amazing people. I'd also like to help him at some point in the future, but everything will be in its time. But amazing opportunities when you realize you have all these strengths and talents. So you got to figure out how you're going to use them. And one rabbi in yeshiva told me, put away your guitar and forget about it. Big mistake. I didn't listen to a word of that rabbi. Yeah, thank God. There are some rabbis, Baruch Hashem, who guided me the right way and told me to use my talents and encouraged it and came to those things. And that helped empower me, which is what I try to do now. And one of the important things that came out was when I became a rabbi as part of programs, I ended up working for a program that originally was part of Ohrsome called Netzach. It's a break from Kesher. I used to have what to do with the Kesher boys and their Jake, and their boys, all these different programs in those days. You don't know about them anymore because they don't exist. But the Beis Sion still exists, thank God I worked there. A lot of places I worked, and when I was with all the Bochrim, all the late night students, they dubbed me the Midnight Rabbi. Yeah, the Midnight Rabbi is because I was up all night with the guys. Because what I realized, I figured like this, when I was in Kollel, I would go out on the streets once in a while. You're having a restless night, it's hot in Israel, didn't have air conditioning back in the day. As a Kollel guy, I didn't have that kind of life. It wasn't like everywhere like it is now. So I went for a walk to cool down, and I saw how many kids, especially Thursday night, instead of sitting here in the Kumztiz, they're out in Ben Yehuda, they're out in town, and I was like, I've got to do something about it. And it was more packed in some ways, the streets, than the programs. So I decided that as a midnight rabbi, that I'll be up all night with these guys. And I realized once I was hanging out with them, the best way to connect, other than one program called me the Xbox Rabbi, because I became really good at Xbox. But FIFA, yeah. And anyway, and back in the day there was Halo. I don't know if these games are still around. Anyway, whatever. So Xbox Rabbi, another yeshiva called me Midnight Rabbi, and that's the name that stuck. And what we built there was a studio. How did I get the money for the studio? So this is where the music biz came in handy. People out in the world wanted tickets for Led Zeppelin reunion concert. It was a one-time thing in Royal Albert Hall. You want to get into Led Zeppelin concert, who are they going to go to? The Goldsmith family. So they find out there's a Goldsmith in Israel, and they're in Israel a lot. And my father mentions, go meet my son and I'll hook you up. He comes. I meet this guy. I just was talking to him today. I'm still friends with him, thank God, very close. He's a very wealthy guy from Wall Street back in the day, and built whole, online laws that we still have in power nowadays, of communication laws. Anyway, so he came and he was this big guy in a Hawaiian shirt, and we met by the old city. Originally he said, come meet me in Telly. I was like, bro, I'm not coming to Telly. It's not, Somebody actually just posted a picture, repost of me and Telly with all my boys. And I had my hat and my tzitzis out, and I was in this crazy place. I sent the picture to him. I can show it to you on the phone. I just got it today. I hadn't seen that picture. I'd never seen it. Someone must have taken it. I didn't know about it. Anyway, but that's another story for another time. So this guy, I said, I'm not coming to Telly. I was at that point where I was very, very firm. I'm not going to Telly. And he said, I'll come to Jerusalem. It's fine. So he came and met me in the old city. First minute meeting me, hands me his credit card. How much do you need? I'm building a studio for kids. 25k. That's it. Done. phone up, take the number, quick, done. I didn't have the machine on me, like it was old school days. Anyway, so they quickly took the money, everything worked out, thank God. With our first donation, we built a studio in Jerusalem, and then we made a Battle of the Bands concert, because YU had, for some reason, stopped doing it. So I became YU for that year, and I made a Battle of the Bands, community of bands, and we had all the big bands in Israel wanted to get involved, and thank God they were involved at that time. And that put me on the map in Israel. I started doing events, and I was doing that for a bunch of years, but unfortunately in those days, there were still some old school people around who were worried that there was mixing of the concert, even though we had a mechitza, and we did all kinds of, boundaries, but there were still rabbis who weren't into it, so I had to sort of go into the background again, because I didn't want to, get in trouble over here. There's always politics a little bit, unfortunately. That's the dark side of Israel. And I stayed with the force, thank God. I didn't give up, and I kept doing it in different ways, smaller ways, on top of rooftops like this, a place in Hillel, Rochel Hillel. We did loads of shows in Hillel. A bunch of rappers came, a lot of other musicians came. There was like a Jewish rap revival back then. It was a lot of the acts you wouldn't know, but Matt Scholl was part of it, and he's still around, Ohrsome. Anyway, so just cut a long story short, I ended up, after years working in the student world, I worked for Ashrenu, that's still around, Yeshiva Ashrenu, hosted Nissim Black for his first show in Israel. How did I meet Nissim Black? So this is a great story.
Tell us after. Let's sing one song.
One song.
Okay, listen everyone, I just sent on the boys group, let's start getting ready for Shabbos with the Yedid Nefesh on the boys group, just posted.
That's it.
Still on the
Which tune?
Give me like 10 minutes.
Let the music guys lead it.
Start us off.
Who's going to choose the keys?
No, never. Are you going to play?
Dance. Yiddish.
Of course I know the dances. Of course I know the dances. Shire.
Hey guys, so I want to continue the story. It's important, and then after that I'm going to play two songs. I'll play one of my own, and then I'll play a song that you guys can all sing, that you know. Maybe you'll sing along with my song, hopefully. But it's like this, guys. This is important transition. So I went out from the rabbi world, kollel world, to corporate. Ended up in corporate. And it was great because I got lots of skills there and met loads of great people. But I was suffering in an inner level because I wasn't really doing my purpose, my mission. I wasn't really feeling so fulfilled, even though I do believe that people in corporate can fulfill their mission if they're very successful or they're very good. And I tried to do that, to connect with people. But it wasn't really my full journey of what I'm about. I was living at that time outside Jerusalem, so I wasn't where I really wanted to live. There's a lot of things going on that wasn't how I really wanted life to be. And Nissim Black, who I'd connected to, and I'll just give a quick backstory how I found him. The way I found Nissim Black, way before any of you guys or anybody knew who he was. Like Alex Clare, if you've heard of him. I knew Alex Clare way before most people knew who he was. Anyway, it was just like a Min Hashamayim, a lot of people like this, that I had the merit to meet them before they became well known, and it's always the best because it's a very genuine connection. And at that time, a guy called Shine Poe had come to Israel. And I was camping with some friends, and they told me, there's this guy called Shine Poe in Yeshiva. Yeah, I said I saw on YouTube some sort of video, did an Ohrsome. He was boys of Puff Daddy and, J-Lo and all these people. Anyway, so...
What was his name again?
Shine Poe.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah. You don't want to listen to his music how it was. It's not so hailing. Anyway, it's good. He was a good rapper. Like, he was like the next B.I.G. at that time.
What's his name?
Shine Poe. He was the next Biggie. Yeah. He only reason that he didn't become as big as Biggie because he ended up in prison for 10 years in the shootout. And then he ended up in Israel, ended up in Ohrsome doing conversion, or at least trying to. And I had the merit to end up through this camp. Someone said, come, and brought him around to my house for a Yom Tov meal. Next minute I know, I was at the Kalav Rebbe actually. I was davening there. I used to daven by Simayev, a lot of Tzaddikim I was connected with. And I was davening at the Kalav Rebbe, and I turned around and there's Shine Post standing there with like a gangster hat on Yom Tov. And anyway, I ended up in a New York Times article, front page with Shine, and it was a big deal back then, and there was a lot of press going on from Belize to Bells, and a lot of interesting stuff going down. And I forgot about it honestly that much, even though I'm still connected to some of the guys who were around that time. But one really important thing happened. One of the boys then tipped me off and said, you've got to check out this rapper in Seattle, 2011. So I check him out. This guy called D Black. It wasn't Nissan Black, it was D Black. And I checked him out on MTV, and it was a song called Aliyah, and an album called Aliyah, and a song called Yesterday. It was amazing. I was like, wow, this is really good music, and this guy's wearing a talit, and at that time I think he was still part of the Jewish Messianic whole thing, but he was slowly getting into Kollel and Judaism and going on his Jewish journey, and I reached out to him on Facebook, and by that time he was already starting to begin his Geirus, and found his name, Nissan Black. So I started chatting with him, and by 2016, after loads and loads of conversations, he successfully converted, and he made a trip to Israel. Sorry, was it 2013? He made his first trip to Israel, and he performed first show in his career in Israel, and I organised it, and we became good friends online and in person now that I met him in Beit Shemesh in 2013. You can Google all this, it's all online. Yeah, and anyway, so then I became very close, and while I was working for corporate around 2016, I just couldn't do it anymore, and I started screaming to Hashem, I've got to get out of this. And that's what Nissan said to me. He said, Eli, you're better than this. Yeah. By the way, just to backtrack again to Shine, funny enough, I just got a call a few months ago from a Rolling Stones author. I don't know if you know, it's not such a great media outlet, but they're pretty big. And they interviewed me for that whole article, and it actually went live like 2 weeks ago, Rolling Stones, and I'm quoted there. But anyway, that was with Shine. And I held to my principles. I wasn't like the nicest, what I said about Shine. I wasn't being mean to him. I think he's an amazing person, but I was saying the truth about the situation. So you can read it and see for yourself. But anyway, the point was, so now with Nissan Black, I listened to him, and I decided I'm going to try a job in Jerusalem. I became a manager of a shop there, or some sort of customer service thing. And he was over the road recording in a studio. This is a divine providence. This is what you got to tune into. Hashem's guiding you. Even in business, everything's Hashem. See, Nissan Black was over the road. So every day I'd walk into the store, buy another thing, buy another this, buy another that. And we were boys already. So it'd be like Elliot, and we'd end up having a chat. And I meant to be managing this place, but I was, Nissan Black's in the store, so I have a chat with him. He says to me, Elliot, I need you. You're my man. Be my manager. So I was like, I've got a job. He said, be my manager. See if you can do both. I don't want to get in the way of your job, but see. So I did. And I said to the boss, don't worry, it's not going to get in the way of my job. Now you guys imagine, I've become a manager of an international artist. What's going to happen? Did it get in the way of the job? I literally was like, for months, not in the country. And I was like back and forth between Israel and I was trying to do the work on the plane and trying to keep in touch with the management position. And anyway, it was very difficult. And there was 1 month, and 1 week in fact, we flew over the Atlantic 3 times. In 1 week, yeah.
1 week.
1 week, 3 times over the Atlantic, yeah. And we did a show in Times Square with Nissim.
Oh.
And we did like 4 or 5 shows in America, and we ended up coming back for 1 show for 1 night in Israel, in Renana. We didn't even go see our wives, and his wife had just had a baby. Nissim's. I didn't even see my wife. Nothing. I hadn't seen her for a week or 2, and he hadn't seen his, and she just had a baby. And we didn't even have time. We had to go straight back to the airport. We had enough time to say Kiddush Levana, do the show, and get back on the plane. And then, these stories, I've got millions of these stories. We then flew back to Miami, did an amazing Purim event, and then I was kicking him out of bed. We've got to go back. You've got the bris today. We've got to get back to Israel. It was Purim. So we just did the night Purim, and then our Purim day, we're flying the whole day in Purim and Chutzlaritz and the rest of the world. And we're in the airport, and I'm like, Nissim, I haven't eaten anything, man. Like, we're sitting in an airport. It's Purim Day here. We heard the Megillah, we did the mitzvahs. We didn't eat proper Suda. So he buys me a chicken sandwich. You know, it's New York. You can get hold of it. We were already buying New York by that point. So I got a chicken sandwich, and that was my Purim Suda. So then we ended up flying all the way through the night till we made it to Tel Aviv. We arrived. We've literally got an hour or two. I mean, the miracles that got us to each place, because we were absolutely exhausted. And we flew to the shul at 1 o'clock, Erev Shabbos, Purim Day here. We made the bris. We made it just in time. We ran into the mikveh, the holy yid that he is. And we had the bris. I had to get back out where I was living out still at that time, out of Jerusalem. Now, one of the things I'll never forgive Nissim for, he really persuaded me to move to Jerusalem, and I did. I live in Yerushalayim, thank God. He only hasn't visited yet. Have you visited? Ridiculous. Hasn't visited. You guys, go to visit. We got a beautiful home apartment in Jerusalem, and it was a whole miracle how it worked out. And just as we moved, there was a few events that happened with Nissim here in Jerusalem when he was living here. He made a night called Black Friday, and I was going to be the token white boy. Yeah? Amir Stoudemire was there, L'chaim OG, like all the boys were there. Kosher Deals was not invited in those days, and all the boys were there. Yosef Brown, his brother. It was a long list. Ariel, lives in Israel. So they never flew a private jet. We have hookups who do, and I'll tell you other stories where there's been that kind of potential, but it's not been. We're not flashy. We'd rather spend the money on supporting our families than wasting on jets. You know?
Who are the most famous international rappers?
So let's just first get to this story. So that night, my wife said, "I don't want you to be the token white boy. They're going to make fun of you. Like, you're going to black humor time. You're not going." So she didn't let me go. Yeah. So she wanted me to maintain my respect. You know, She was right. They told me they were ripping it, and I went out for a meal later on, and it was pretty much that kind of vibe. So, because you're like the token Jewish white boy, you know. I mean, they're all Jewish, but it was like, you know, different vibes, different sense of humor. So, you have to know your place. So, anyway, Baruch Hashem, you know, I'd love to have L'chaim OG actually in our studio. We haven't had him yet, but the good news, sitting on my phone right here, is a picture of Nissim Black. It's a new picture, because we're going to be having him on Sunday, our Munah class. Please go one day, Yoni will come by. Have him as a special guest. Nissim Black's going to be our special guest on Sunday. A guy called Rudy Rochman just confirmed a week from Sunday. So we've had some amazing guests over the last 2 years. Shlomo Katz, Eitan Katz. You know, these aren't rappers, but we had a famous Israeli rapper. I don't know if he's so famous anymore, but he was back in the day. Benjamin. No. I don't even remember his name. I'm not into the Israeli rap scene so much. I've forgotten his name. Benjamin Blackwell, his name is. You can look him up. Ben Blackwell. He was pretty big at one point. Israeli rapper, yeah, legit Israeli rapper. He came by our studio. We've had a lot of special guests, but how did I get to the studio story? Let's just quickly speed up. So I was with Nissim Black for a bunch of time. I'll just end off with this point. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to be a booking agent. Too much traveling. It's not good for my life. And in the meanwhile, Rav Orish people saw me, and they brought me into their group. And that's how I ended up with the studio. And I've been running a studio here now 2 years, thank God, for the English-speaking world. And Nissim Black's become one of my artists I book for. I'm not manager. He has an amazing manager who also manages Rudy Rochman, a really good guy. And I'm also, just today, I just potentially signed a really big influencer who has a huge clout online, like 2 million followers, a guy called Moshe Reuven. You haven't heard of him yet, maybe as a rapper. You heard of him? Huh? Moshe Reuven. He's a new dude. You're going to hear about him. He just sent me the new song that hasn't come out yet, with a guy called Julian Marley, one of Bob Marley's sons, who just put a song together. I just heard it today.
Can you play some?
Huh?
Can you play some bit?
I can play the song, but you can't record it because it's unreleased.
Can we hear it?
Can't be recorded. So, and I promised him it would just be between me and him, and I don't want to get sued by the dude. Huh?
Gavi's a rapper.
A rapper. So I personally, even though I grew up in the rock world, and that was my upbringing, more the rock pop world, but I personally was really into all genres. Like, I went to Rage Against the Machine concert, I don't even know heard of those guys, or Beastie Boys, or I was into all the old school hip hop stuff, like Tribe Called Quest, everything.
What was your favourite rock band?
My favourite rock bands, you know, there's different time periods. I just listened the other day to Alice in Chains. I was like, Unplugged, that was just so good. Or Red Hot Chili Peppers, or... I'm going to play one of my own songs. It's a bit of like a vibe of those 90s days, which is what I grew up with. And yeah. Who?
What about Australian rock?
You asked me, so I'm not. I'm like, I would say with Shine Poe, I met like Def Jam's crew, pop stuff. I mean, I met like loads of pop guys back in the day, like Paul McCartney's pretty big, you know, Beatles. Yeah. For some reason, I met Paul. I met David Bowie, if you heard of David Bowie. My dad used to run his fan club. I met a lot of people. It's hard to remember all the names.
Sinclair?
So Rabbi Sinclair worked with my uncle when he did Bohemian Rhapsody. He was working with my uncle in those days. They know each other very well. Harvey and Sinclair. I met the Queen band back in the day. I mean, I didn't have a chat with them, but they were there. Oasis. I met like Liam and yeah. You know, I met Metallica. I met loads of bands. I worked at their events. One event I was so stoned I don't even remember what happened. I just remember having munchies and eating all the sweets. Because I was working, they kicked me out from the clothes thing and said, go work on the sweet thing. I was like, this is the best. I'm like stoned. I'm at a metal festival. My family's running at Aussie Fest. It was amazing, Ozzy Osbourne. And I was there. All the biggest bands, and everyone was there. And I had munchies and I was just noshing. Anyway, I don't know if I got paid. I don't know. I think I actually owed them money. But L'chaim, the main thing what I would say about all these stories I'm telling you is that Hashem was guiding me and he brought me to really amazing people. And now I have a growing list of musicians I'm slowly building relationships with. And that's really what it's about. It's not about all the stardom. It's about relationships. Nissan became one of my best friends, you know, and so did his brother-in-law, so did all the people that I've connected with in the business. I try to build real friendships with these people, and that's what it's about. And thank God I've had such amazing blessings from it. And I really appreciate you guys bringing me here. Thank you, Yoni. Thank you, awesome students. We're going to play 2 songs. This song is called Simcha. I played it at my wedding. I was a little bit less bearded back then, a little bit skinnier. I played at my own wedding with a rock band with Menachem Herman. He was the guitarist, if you know who he is. L'chaim. And Chaim Brocha. I haven't played for like a few months, honestly, so I'm a little bit rusty.
Still have your ear. Should get him in a palace.
We are a people of a kind, we're to find our truest sign. This place of holy fire, please. This is our home. Yerushalayim will sing to all our children crying. Every time we sing, every time we dance, every time we sing, every time we sing and dance, every time we sing, every time we dance. All this simchas pouring through our hands, every time we sing, every time we dance. We form a circle as time goes by, people yearning to dare by the way of this world. It's hearts come back, sincerely sing and dance, and yet feel very we sing, every time we dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Every time we sing, every time we dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Sing along, every time we sing, every time we dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Every time we sing, every time we dance. Orator is our hands, shining to our moms and dads, expressing of our love. Uplift the past, up from the dust, 'cause every time we sing and dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Every time we sing, every time we dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Every time we sing, every time we dance, sing and dance along. Ay la 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 la, ay la 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 la, ay la 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 la. Oh yeah yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, ay la, ay yeah, ay yeah yeah, oh my la 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 la. Every time we sing, every time we dance, all the simchas pouring through our hands. Every time we sing, every time we dance, sing along. Every breath we take, everyone we love, all an expression of the one above. Every breath we take, everyone we love, all expression of the one above. Every breath we take, everyone we love, all expression of the one above. Every breath we take, everyone we love, all an expression of the one above. That's how rusty my voice was. Baruch Hashem. It's on Spotify, yeah. So now we're going to play a Jewish song. But just let you know, it's a little secret, a little deep secret about music. Yeah, we're going to play a Jewish song now. It's called Ivdet Shem B'Simcha. Yeah, but we have to serve Hashem with joy. That was the whole message of that song. I was going through darkness, and I was able to turn it around through dancing and joy and energy. Having a good group of guys like you guys, a chavra, having friends is so important. A good friend can save you from everything. So just to connect in a little spiritual message about music. When you sing with music, it's ABCB. Did you know that? Yeah. It's verse, the chorus, and middle A, or however they want to call it, and then back to chorus. Bridge, thank you. And back to chorus. Yeah? So now, what does that connect to us as Jews? Every song in Judaism is pretty much the same. It's ABCB. Why? Because it's Yud K Vav K. Did you know that? Yud K Vav K. So every niggun, you're journeying through the Shem Havaya. You're journeying through Hashem's name. Yud, and then the Hey, and then the Vav and the Hey. A, B, C, B. And the climax is the C, the Vav. The Vav is all emotions, all like, it's the climax. And then you come back into the chorus. And you're internalizing it. So you really start off with the Yud. The Yud is like this expression of divinity. And the Hey is now like really internalizing. And then we get back to this climax. and then we bring it into ourselves again. And that's the journey. Every song has that journey of spirituality. So we're going to sing Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha. Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha. Na 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 Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, L'fana v'nana, L'fana v'nana, na 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 Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, L'fana v'nana, L'fana v'nana. Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, L'fana v'nana, L'fana v'nana. Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, L'fana v'nana, L'fana v'nana. Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, Ivdu Es Hashem B'Simcha, L'fana v'nana, L'fana v'nana. That was a question you wanted to ask before. What was it?
I just wanted. I forgot the word. What like this is called?
Kumztiz.
Yeah, I want to know about like that.
Kumztiz means in Yiddish, it means come sit. Yeah. So the idea is bringing people together. That's the power. Personally, my whole life is about this concept. Thank you for asking. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason, perfect. It's all about unity. All about bringing people together.
Wait. This is Bob.
Ready?
I think it's really impactful, and as
Ellie.
Ellie said, that if just everyone just gets off their phone for the next song, everyone just thinks about like their meaning of Shabbos, and everyone just thinks about the next song and how we can bring in Shabbos together. I think it'll be really impactful and special. So everyone get off their phones. Everyone knows this song. So let's start. Jason, hit it away.
Hit it away.
שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לחלוצנו עמד עלינו לחלוצנו איש שעמד לאבותינו איש שעמד לאבותינו בלב הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו מידם. הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו, מצילנו מידם. שלא אחד לבד עמד עלינו לחלוצנו עמד עלינו לחלוצנו הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו מצילנו
While you say a big thank you to Pommy. Stand up, Pommy, for opening us.
Good playing, Jason. Nice guitar playing.
Okay, I think it's time for Tati Makin.
No, just not feeling it.
So, okay, I put the lyrics on the board.
Just not feeling it right now.
But I just maybe someone should play the song. Maybe someone should play the song. I don't know. Tati Makin. The lyrics are on the group. If you look at the board, maybe someone could play on this like note.
Jason, you wanna be involved in some bookings?
In some what?
Music bookings.
It's an amazing.
We've got a long list of guys. I'm just going to read them out. If you need anyone for Simchas, if you don't mind, quick plug. Duvi Shapiro, booking with. He's Mordechai Shapiro's older brother.
Oh, right.
Shira Choir. I don't have Mordechai Shapiro. He's too big for me.
No.
You can book for your Simchas. These are people I book with. Hasidic Choir, the Shira Choir. We're booking him for Amsterdam next week. Westside Gravy, he's a rapper in LA. Shlomi Zion, he's a speaker. Ami. I'm booking Nosson. No, I'm joking. Shol Blinkhoff, if you heard of him.
Look at the static. Everyone, look at the static. Bought flowers for his wife. I know.
Johnny, he bought them for you. Don't lie. And there's a long lot more.
This was a good
One South Africa, Reuven Garber. Who's heard of Reuven Garber?
Mayim Rabir.
So I'm starting to book for him as well. He's another guy. A long list. We'll keep going on. All right, so let's hear some.
Okay, wait,
Let's hear the song. Say goodbye. What do you say?
Zach, let me finish this and I'll bring down.
Is that Mendy Ash?
Just had one.
Is that Mendy Ash?
Wait 5 minutes.
Wi-Fi 3.
Do you manage Yaakov Swing?
No. I wish.
All the random characters that
What's a good song?
Yeah, but they're so significant.
The only thing I knew about Clown is that he's a good rapper. Anything I know about Clown is that
Yeah, but he's a cool dude. I love it.
I didn't even know you watched it.
Yeah, it's the same vibe. Yeah, of course. That's Gil's favorite.
We know it.
We all know it. Jason.
Oi, Bendy!
Yanni. Dossie, you said it, Chaim? Yes.
Someone playing Touching My Kin.
It's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Last time you had someone who knew how to play it.
The lyrics on the group.
Do I have?
Come on. Father, I plead, never let go of me. Never let go of me. My King, Father, I plead, never let go of me. Ever let go.
Baruch Hashem,
Baruch Hashem.
Do you know how to take pictures, Phil?
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
Thanks, man.
All good, bro.
Better one. Let me take some other ones. I'll take one more so I can zoom out.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Baruch
Zach always does it.
Wait, where's Zara?
Hey boy! Brilliant. Zach. I'm gonna be singer.
Zach.
Zach, singer, dancer. I think they'll win.
How much have you been doing, Zach? How much have you been doing? You don't earn money. You don't earn money. How are you going to add your apple? I think I got it.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Jimmy Page. The drummer dude was dead. My dad remembers he didn't help do their album cover.
He's just over here.
That's like a brilliant. Ohrsome.
I think you need another track. I don't know what
I know a lot about
Wait, Zach, what happens now? Sweet.
That's the song.
Pardon?
I could not hear you.